Pretty interesting statistic. It's not even close. The Broncos and the Patriots with 15 500-yard games, whereas Sean Payton's Saints have 21 in the Payton era, and that's a remarkable number. And the Saints needed every one of those yards to win over the Carolina Panthers Sunday in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome, 41-38. Drew Brees had a remarkable game as he threw for 465 yards and 4 touchdowns in the game. And Brandon Cooks was superb, career-high 173 yards receiving, 7 catches and a touchdown. And the Saints with 523 total yards. And as mentioned, they needed every one of them, and it took a 52-yard field goal at the end to win it by Will Lutz. So, Brian, so many places to go with this game. We sit together during the game, and Saints had a 21-0 lead. Looked like, man, this is great. And we were kind of asking, who is this team? And then suddenly it came back to earth, and then we saw what transpired. And ultimately they got the ball last, and that's why they won the game.
Kenny, I really think that's the script for this team this year, and maybe for the last couple of years, is I like their chances with the ball in their possession and either going to win it or tie it, because they've been pretty successful over the years. This is just who they are. It really is. It's who they are. And I don't think any lead is safe. And I'll tell you what, that statistic that Lenny put up, I wonder how many of those 500-yard games are in the Superdome, because obviously they really do. They do excel moving the football in the Superdome.
They're a different team indoors, Ricky.
Yeah, indoors they're a different team, you know what I mean? And I think that the first 2 quarters, Drew looked real good. His arm stayed real strong, and the ball was crisp and polished. And maybe at the end when he threw the interception and stuff, kind of got away from him a little bit. Arm got kind of tired, but as long as he's fresh, he's one of the best quarterbacks and throw the ball.
You know, there's a great stat about Drew in the game yesterday. If you take away his throwaways and when he was hit, I think it was once, and there were 4 drops, he was like 39 of 40, okay, on balls that were aimed and targeted for receivers. 39 of 40. That's hard to do.
Yeah, he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks ever came into the league. I mean, if he's throwing that ball, it's going to be somewhere close around those guys' hands.
Yeah.
I said one time yesterday when the tight end was a little bit overthrown, I said, man, Graham would have got that one. You know, you just always think that, you know, his ball should be caught because he's so accurate.
Well, the tight ends were big for the Saints in this game, and that was great, but bigger was Drew Brees. Yet another incredible performance. Records falling again, and look at all these numbers on Brees. 99 career 300-yard passing games, 52 career 350-yard passing games, and now 15 400-yard passing games. That breaks the all-time NFL record, which he previously shared with Peyton Manning. So he's number 1 in the history of the National Football League in 400-yard passing games. You can slice that any way you want, and it comes out the same way. Brilliance.
Yeah, Kenny, he's unbelievable. I don't know how else to say it. We are blessed to be able to watch this guy week in and week out during the football season, because he's, you know, we know he's a Hall of Fame guy when the time approaches. But this guy he's carrying a team on his back, and he has for the last 3 or 4 years now. And that's a lot of burden. I mean, that's a major responsibility, and he's answered it for the most part every week.
What got my attention, Ricky, is the fact that he did it with a chopped-up offensive line, and that's hard to do when you don't have Armstead. Pete replaces him. Pete gets hurt. Now you got Hills in there. Kelamete's playing guard. Jerry Evans, bless his heart, at the other guard, and he's longer in the tooth. Zach Streif's longer in the tooth. And he still has this productivity.
Well, I'll tell you what, those guys blocked pretty good yesterday. I mean, he didn't get a whole lot of hits and a whole lot of pressure on him. I think those guys up front, they kind of did a great job. I was looking at them in the trenches. They didn't lose a whole lot of valor, so Drew had a chance to pick the ball. And then Coach Payton had a way he got the ball out of his hand in good rhythm. I mean, it wasn't back there just sitting all day. It was more of a 5-step drop, get rid of the ball. Guys running quick slants, quick ends and stuff, so he got a chance to get rid of the ball quick yesterday.
With the rules the way they are, were you surprised that Short wasn't considered for being ejected when he took that cheap shot and hit him in the face intentionally and cut his mouth?
Well, I mean, you know, he threw like a forearm at him. He should automatically been ejected, but, you know, the referees, it's not just blatant, they're not trying to throw people out the game, but looked like to me he should have been thrown out the game yesterday because he threw the elbow, and he made sure that he went to the face. Well, it wasn't just a stupid call. I mean, the guy knows he can't do stuff like that on the quarterback and get away with it. So I was very disappointed with that.
I'm sure the league's going to step in on that, Kenny. We even made the comment up in the press box at the time. They should have tossed him. That, if ever there was a time for a player to be ejected, that was the time. That's what that rule's in for. Yeah, it was a very cheap shot.
And it was a bad time. I mean,
killed his team.
It killed his team. I mean, to do something stupid like that. I think they got a touchdown on that play.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
So it really
So
didn't hurt them
didn't
because,
matter, but it could have killed them.
It could have killed them because they got a chance to kick the extra point, and you don't get the 15 yards on that. So,
and the original ruling was not a touchdown, but it turned out to be that way.
Touchdown, so he got away with it.
As mentioned, Brandon Cooks had himself a remarkable game. He's playing like a #1 draft pick, making big play after big play this year. This game was no exception. Again, the numbers bear that out. Against the Raiders, 6 catches, 143 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then, of course, you look at what he did yesterday. He's making big plays, even though there was a little lull in between. He's making big plays, Ricky. That's why they drafted this kid.
Well, Ken, you know what? People are just not recognizing his speed. I mean, I look at the game, and I know he's going to run by these guys. He got Ohm up and try to just take off and run with him. And, I mean, half of the time, they don't even know where he be at. And he get on them so quick to Drew, he got one of the most accurate quarterbacks. Once he led up, I mean, I know those guys are not going to catch him. Once you get a 4 or 5 yard lead, they act like they're going to catch him, and I know he's going to run away from him. I really like the cat. I mean, the young man, the way I look at it, he carries himself well off the field and on the field, and I think a lot of him.
And I like Michael Thomas, Brian. He's a tough kid, runs good routes, always gets up the field. He's fearless, and he catches the ball.
And if you add Willie Steed, the fourth in there, Kenny, I mean, they've got 3 really good playmakers. And just one thing real quick about Brandon Cooks. I'll tell you what, he's the second best receiver in this division, in my opinion, is Julio and then Brandon, okay? And that says something because there's some good receivers.
And I say, you know, it's hard to, you know, I played with Eric Martin. I seen West Chandler, but to me, Cook don't have a chance to be the best receiver the Saints ever had. I mean, I don't know, them the only 2 that I've been around and seen. But the stuff
Joe Horn was really good too.
Joe was really good.
I missed Joe. I didn't really see Joe.
But you saw him, yeah.
I seen him at Atlanta more than with the Saints. But just sitting there seeing this young man mature every game and get better and the work ethic. He started to shoot the bow and arrow yesterday, and he realized he had to pay too much money, so he cut he cut the pull off.
Yeah.
So I mean, I really take my hat off.
That's a smart young man.
Smart young man.
I take my hat off to him. I think that he's done a great job.
Well, look, we haven't mentioned Sean Payton. Drew Brees and this receiving core, they benefit from having Sean Payton as a play caller and a schemer. I mean, he is an outstanding offensive coordinator. Well, let him. Pete's good too. But I'm going to give most of my credit to Coach Payton.
We have a scoop here. Andrews Pete was calling the plays.
Pete was calling the plays.
Pete Carmichael, of course.
Pete Carmichael.
But listen, and the other notable about the offense, I mentioned earlier, the tight ends getting involved.
Yes.
Jimmy Graham was special here. Most recently, Benjamin Watson had a really good year.
Yep.
It was really good to see Kobe Fleener have a big game, ran for a touchdown. Great call, by the way, and then the touchdown catch and run. Look, he's big and he can run. The question is, can he be tough enough? Can he get open in space, catch the ball in tough circles around defenders? Showed that yesterday. And then Josh Hill coming up big. So this was a big game for tight ends.
Kenny, I think what's happening, what we're seeing is that there's that confidence factor, there's that rapport between Fleener and Brees, and it's every game it's getting better and better. And you know, tight end plays a great position in this offense.
Yeah, I mean, and it's good. You know, we talk about how great the offense and putting up 41 points, but we still got to work on that defense. So I mean,
well,
you think?
Yeah,
I'm glad you mentioned that.
You still got to work on the defense. I mean, you get 40 and a team get 38. I mean, you got to go down like that. We got to get them where they only get like 16
Part
points.
of it is execution, but a large part of it is relative health of the secondary as well, which is just totally chopped up. This secondary, I mean, it's remarkable. These are the numbers on what's happened this year. Derek Carr, 319 yards. Eli Manning, 368. Matt Ryan, what was he doing? 240. Phillip Rivers, 321. Cam Newton, 322. Now, let's tell the truth. Keenan Lewis was expected to be here, not here. Delvin Breaux expected to be here, not here. P.J. Williams was here, not here. Damian Swan was here, not here. and then you lose Sterling Moore in the game, who had a wonderful interception in the back of the end zone. You are down to your 6th, 7th, and 8th cornerbacks trying to play in the NFL against NFL receivers and the MVP in the league last year, Cam Newton. I don't know how you can overcome that, Brian. I guess the answer is you cannot.
No, you can't, but I'll tell you what, it's a disturbing tendency because last year the defense gave up a league record 45 TD passes, Kenny. So I agree with you. It's hard to overcome when you lose your top 4 or 5 cornerbacks. But again, this has been a trend for this defense over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, the guys up front got to take the load. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You got to get more pressure on the quarterback from the forward
Yes.
down lineman. And I think Cam Jordan, he tried to do his best yesterday. He put a little pressure on the quarterback, and those guys up front, they got to take over.
Kasim Edebali, I thought, provided some pressure yesterday. Nick Fairley as well. They had 2 sacks, and they had some pressure, so they did a better job. I thought Nate Stupar played pretty well for the Saints yesterday, and it looks like he stepped in and done a good job. Ray Robertson's been there, but then again, where's Stephon Anthony? I don't know. I mean, it's amazing. You really have to be concerned at this stage. Another top draft pick that doesn't seem to be performing and has to be a concern moving forward. It goes without saying.
And last year, I mean, he broke my record with 100 and something tackles. So, I mean, I don't know how this guy just fall off the cliff.
That's a great question.
Over 1 year. 'Cause, I mean, my rookie year, I had 100 and something tackles, and last year, he broke the record with 100 and something. So, I don't know how the guy fall off the cliff in 1 year like that.
Today's Sports NOLA TV is presented by our good and great friends at Premier Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, 13,000 I-10 Service Road in New Orleans. Go to PremierChryslerJeepDodge.com, where you'll get a reliable and stylish new and used car at a price you can afford. With Premier's expansive inventory of new and used cars, you have to stop by the dealership to see all of the hot deals. Thank you to Premier Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Premier Automotive, where you'll get a good deal on the real deal. Back to talk NFL in a moment on Sports NOLA TV.